modern ceiling design in the living room. Modern trends in the world of interior and design of residential premises take as a basis for creating a composition of all planes of a furnished room. For the floor and the grinder, an equally important role is assigned to the walls. In order to determine how the ceiling should look in a modern living room, it is necessary to highlight the main fashion trends that prevail today. Popular interior styles for the living room. The popularity of certain interior styles depends on many factors. Each period of time has its own style, which may appear after several decades, having undergone some changes. This year, the main stylistic trends of the 1920s serve as the basis for creating an individual interior. Execution can be both component and integral. Eclecticism is the main trump card of interior design within the framework of modernity. Of particular importance is the creation of a well-thought-out space and a concise combination of decorative style with minimalist design trends. A new round of popularity in eco-style, which is no longer an independent type of interior, but interacting. Of particular relevance is the combination of eco-style with democratic contemporary. Timely antiquity returns to the list of popular interior styles. The lack of texture in the leading styles forces us to turn to classical and monumental types of decoration. However, antiquity is introduced as a final element. The general construction of the interior plot is entirely borrowed from the English style: restraint, authority, consistency. Ethnic styles are of little use for the foreign modern idea of residential interiors. But bright expressive forms and decorative elements of ethnicity can be used as a substitute for antique accents. All types of living room ceiling cladding. Much more functions are assigned to the ceiling plane of space than just cladding and the location of lighting fixtures. First of all, the ceiling part should logically complement the existing interior. Given the current trends in creating an individual interior for the living room, it is important to visually increase the space, as well as antique or ethnic types of decoration. The second most important function that the ceiling performs is the consistent division of space into zones. The living room often involves the location of several types of functional areas, and modern stylistic trends require large space and smooth transitions. The only way to recreate the composition of the interior of the chameleon in the four corners is to highlight the zones with the help of ceiling cladding. The best types of cladding. When choosing a type of ceiling lining, it is important to take into account the functional tasks that the ceiling should perform in a modern living room. The living room, which has a large quadrature, requires the correct location of a number of lighting fixtures. The first problem to be solved is the masking of communications. Modern design styles, which have grown on the trends of minimalism and classics, require thorough work to prepare the planes for cladding. The ceiling should not have irregularities and flaws, which are often found in slab multi-story buildings. Based on engineering requirements, and referring to trends in the interior world, a list of the best types of ceiling cladding is compiled. Perimeter lighting. stretch ceiling. A universal type of cladding that meets all the requirements of modern times. Convenient design allows you to mask bumps and wiring. An unlimited choice of colors and textures makes it possible to use stretch ceilings for all types of interior without exception. Glossy surfaces, due to reflective abilities, visually increase the space. Completes a number of advantages: the ability to replace the canvas when changing the interior in the living room. Wooden panels and beams. Contemporary and eco style are well complemented with wooden ceilings. Eco-friendly, aesthetically attractive material, allows you to create suspended structures that correct the plane of the ceiling. The obligatory air space between the plane and the coating will provide a place for wiring and communications, as well as serve as a heat and sound insulating layer. The material is used as the main or additional, in the form of decoration. Active accents for a modern ceiling in the living room can be done using natural or decorative beams. Plasterboard structures. An alternative or complementary option for stretch ceilings. With the help of drywall, you can hide flaws and install any lighting equipment. The texture of drywall allows it to be faced with any material, painting, wallpaper or plaster. The main advantage of drywall constructions is the ability to create different level ceilings for the living room. With the help of the difference in levels, different zones are distinguished, illumination lighting is located. Modern designers use plasterboard structures as an addition to stretch ceilings, creating an integral composition on the ceiling plane. Facing the plasterboard ceiling is carried out only after the completion of work on the alignment and masking of communications. Facing materials for plasterboard constructions. Staining is the most popular way of plasterboard lining, especially when it comes to combined plasterboard structures with stretch ceilings. With the help of high-quality paint, you can achieve a deep color and a uniform texture. Ceiling painting works are carried out before wall and floor cladding. Wallpaper coatings are less commonly used for drywall exterior cladding, but are generally applicable if the chosen interior style requires special emphasis. But additional decor will help to focus more effectively on the ceiling of the room. Decor. The main decoration of the ceiling is a chandelier or other types of lighting fixtures. But in the stylistic directions that are used for the modern living room, decorative accents with the help of stucco and frescoes are relevant. Stucco. Relief decorations are used to accentuate, emphasize the entire plane or a separate part. The main decorative element is moldings, shelving plinths, installed around the perimeter to highlight the zone. Natural stucco is used to apply a textured pattern to the ceiling in any of the classic styles. Frescoes. An elite type of decoration that defines the classics. Frescoes are applied both as a whole and in a separate area. The best option for a ceiling fresco is painting on wet plaster, But, of course, imitations are provided that are inferior in cost, wallpaper with frescoes and films with a textured pattern. There are types of finishes and decorations that are not widely used in the design of the ceilings of modern living rooms. The reason for this was a number of individual characteristics of each of the materials, as well as the stylistic preferences of modernity. Suspended ceiling. Panel suspended ceilings, which are often used for office premises, have a convenient design that allows you to replace worn parts point-wise, as well as masked communications. But this type of ceiling cladding, with a limited range of colors in white and gray tones and a rectilinear shape, with divisions into squares, is very official and simple in order to decorate and complement the interior of a residential building. Case tones. Polyester foam plates imitating stucco do not have advantages as a material. They are used for low-budget cosmetic repairs. The appearance of such a finishing material gives out cheapness. Plastering and leveling with mixtures. Plaster, as the main material for ceiling cladding, requires a number of works to prepare and level the plane, and it also does not provide structures for hidden wiring. The deep texture of the material creates blackouts and highlights that distort the appearance of the ceiling. Coloring. Painting always highlights existing imperfections in the ceiling, so painting requires the same preparatory work as plastering. For modern ceilings, this most inexpensive method is used only as an addition or if there is no need to install masking for wiring. Lighting. Whatever the interior, the completeness of the composition requires full lighting. Modern premises are designed taking into account a number of rules. Necessarily lighting the working area or perimeter with the help of spotlights for a large area. Obligatory central lighting. If the living room has two or more zones, logically separated from each other, each should have central lighting separately. Lighting is always thought out based on the requirements of space, its shape and division into functional parts. But, the above rules must be followed in any of the cases. Most often, spotlights are used, which are conveniently masked into the ceiling cavity. The traditional use of a chandelier is fully compensated by well-placed rows of spotlights and an outstanding ceiling finish. Lighting designs for modern living rooms increasingly have futuristic or minimalist features. The chandelier always brings comfort and complements the composition, acting not only as a lighting device, but also as an element of decor. The use of metal elements and textiles is encouraged. For stretch ceilings and multi-level structures, lighting such as backlighting is often used. With the help of conventional or colored lighting, the main decorative accent is given to individual planes of the structure. Living room, ceiling.